Yo, what is up guys? Welcome back or welcome to the channel as usual. Today I'm going to be bringing you a very simplified guide. I'll try to keep this as short as possible, but also as simple as possible so that you guys can get to learn about all the things you need to do, especially on day one, and why you should do it as well. And then I will have other videos coming out in the next couple days as well, so definitely do subscribe, turn on the notifications, as there will be continuations of this and guides of other systems as well, so that you are aware of it. But yeah, with that out of the way, let's dive into this. For this video, I'm going to be focusing mostly on, first of all, the leveling phase and why you should rush to level 50, and then what to do once you hit level 50, and so that you don't waste your resources and all that stuff. And I'll follow up with a few tips and tricks after you are done with those things as well, what you should do, all that kind of stuff. So let's get right into it. So first of all, your leveling 50 journey. The reason why you should rush level 50 in the first place is because of a couple of reasons. Simply put, the TLDR is you have these tokens here, for example, for the dungeons. You also have something called the contracts, which I'll touch upon later. And basically, these accumulate on a daily basis. And you want to rush to level 50 so that you can use those things before they hit the cap. And then they just don't stack anymore once they hit the cap. So basically you waste those resources. That is the whole reason why you should rush level 50, whether you're a casual, a hardcore, whatever it may be, so that you can just make the most out of your resources. That's all. Now, to hit level 50, I'm not going to make a guide personally. I'm going to leave a couple links down in the comments for some leveling guides that I think are worth checking and I think are trustworthy. But at the same time, I do have on my live category on YouTube as well, I do have a couple streams of myself playing through level 1 to 50, just a couple hours stream. And you should be, roughly speaking, able to do it within 6 to 8 hours. So definitely go check that stream out. Maybe that will help you. But yeah, with that out of the way, basically you're going to focus on your main story. You don't have any right now, but normally you will have a main story which is labeled purple color, similar to this but purple. And you're going to be focused on doing that, and alongside that you're going to have to do something called the blue quests or the exploration quests. Those exploration quests, as you do them, the way to unlock them is every time you go to a different place and then you unlock, let's say, the teleport here, then it will unlock the exploration quests of that location. Now, do keep in mind, you need to be aware of the fact that if, let's say, I go to Raging Wilds, I don't think I've done the blue quest there, but let me show you real quick. Because the blue quests, it will show up as recommended, but it's not going to actually give you the blue quest. Like, as you can see here, it tells you current location, Raging Wilds. As you can see, on the map here, you don't see a single blue quest. The ones you see here on the map are also the ones that I already have pinned over here. That's why. If I unpin those, you will not be able to see any blue markers on the map. Let me unpin this one because you don't have any pin. So normally most people tend to miss it because of that, but simply you can press this one, like the star icon here, and just like that, it showed up on the mini map right away. So these are the things to be aware of. So you'll be doing your main story. You will be doing the blue quests as well alongside your main story. My tip, however, for day one is that once you start the game and get to the first area here, which is Goldenrod Pasture, skip the blue quests there, except like for the easy ones that you know are going to happen alongside your purple. Do those, but normally just like skip this place, skip the second place as well, and then start your blue quests, maybe some of them in Wind Hill Shores. The reason for that is very simple. It's because the first day, a lot of players on your screen, a lot of crashing happening. You want to just get ahead of the curve and avoid having so many people clumped in one place so that they kill mobs that you cannot kill and such. That's what I would recommend personally. Now, let's say you do hit a wall, because every now and then you're going to be hitting a wall where you can no longer proceed with your main story. You will only be able to do either the blue quests or the appendixes, which are these quests here that say appendix. My recommendation, once again, is skip the event ones, like this one here. The event is not going to be unlocked anyway initially, and even if it does unlock within an hour or two, do not really go to the first event. It's going to be a waste of time. It takes so long to finish one event. It is good XP, don't get me wrong, but there will be so many players, you will not really get the most out of it. You will just end up wasting time for no reason. So just ignore any appendix that wants you to do an event and focus on the other appendixes. And at some point, you'll also be asked from the appendix to do the instance dungeons, which are these dungeons over here, and it will ask you to do the level 20 dungeon, and then eventually you'll get another appendix for the level 30 dungeon. You can do those if you have a party to do it with, if you want to speedrun. But if you do not have a party to do it with, you could possibly do this one, but I wouldn't recommend doing this. But regardless, I wouldn't recommend doing neither, honestly, without a proper party. Otherwise, you could end up like with a party that will waste your time, and you end up like wasting so much time. So instead, focus on the blue quests in that case. But if you do have a party, definitely do run those. When you get to the end of those, run each of them once only for the appendix, and open the chest at the end once only for each, so that you don't waste these points here, so that you can use them later on the level 50 dungeons. These are basically your endgame dungeons, but we're going to touch on that in a moment. So this is it for like basically the leveling procedure. You do your main story, you do your blue quests alongside it, and you do your appendixes. If you hit a wall with your main story, normally you would just like try to go to a new area, unlock the waypoint there, like that is a level or two higher than you, unlock the waypoint there, and simply do the blue quests in that area. To know the order also of them, you can simply press J from here, and that will show you the appendixes and the order of them. So let's say, for example, you do hit a point where you are at nesting grounds and you want to do the higher area. Keep in mind, all of these here after nesting grounds are level 50 areas. So what you can do is scroll down to Stone Guard and then check the ones in Stone Guard, and so on and so forth. This is basically what you're going to be doing. Now, once you hit level 50, however, there are things that you must do on the spot. The first thing you will do is you will head over to Pure Light Tower or Watcher's Post. And if you do hit, by the way, a level cap at 49 and you're stuck without a main story, do the same thing. Go either Watcher's Post or Pure Light Tower, and you're going to do the contracts there. And I'm going to show you right now why you should do that. Do keep in mind the contracts refresh 10 contracts per day. So every single day you get 10 contracts, and this is why you need to rush level 50, because the maximum you can accumulate, as you can see, is 60. And once you hit that 60, no matter how much I slack on these contracts, it's gonna be stuck at 60. So tomorrow I should be getting 10 extra. Guess what's gonna happen? I will not get them because I'm already at the cap. So that is why this is your #1 task to do. Once you hit level 50, you come to Pure Light Tower or Watcher's Post, or even if you're level 49 and you don't have a main story, you can do that and lower these contracts to at least 59. Because if you have it anywhere below 60, you are going to get the 10 contracts on reset. So if it's a 59, it will go up to 69. 58, it will go up to 68. So try to get it down below 60. If you want to run all of it until 0, that's also totally fine. So this is basically your #1 task to do, which is doing the contracts. Once you are done with the contracts, the second task to do is your co-op dungeon, which we touched upon earlier. And you will do these level 50 dungeons. Do not touch any of the low level dungeons anymore. Just do your level 50 dungeons, because these are your end game loot, and this is where you're gonna get most, if not in some cases the majority of your gear pieces, weapons, and all that kind of stuff. So these are the #2 things, the top 2 things that you'll have to do once you hit level 50. Outside of that, you will need to go to any Sundry's Merchant. These are called Sundry's Merchant. You'll find them in any map or any major city. So you need to go to those and buy your weeklies. So you have this one here, which is the Hadel's Tower, and you have this one here, which is the weeklies for open world dungeon. Initially, you're not going to have the open world dungeons, but for now, just buy those. And buy these as well for the Tadel's Tower. Tadel's Tower, simply put, once you use those in your inventory, which you will have like this in your inventory. For the Tadel's Tower, this is the secret dungeon, which is the tower that is solo, and you do the bosses there. They give you a lot of mats if you clear the 3 contracts weekly, so make sure to buy those every single week. Those here are weeklies, and you need to buy them every single week. Outside of that, you also need to make sure to go to any major city. Let's say in this case Vienta Village, and there are 2 merchants that you need to be aware of on a daily basis. The first merchant is the guild merchant, and this is why, regardless of whether you're a casual player, a hardcore player, or a semi-hardcore player, you need to be in a guild, because if you are in a guild, you can basically donate to guilds, and at the same time you can earn these guild tokens. As you can see here on this character, I cannot access this guild merchant because I do not have a guild on this character. But let's say I do join any random guild, for example. So let's say here I can join this one here. and then I can now access this merchant. You can see these are daily limits. So these are the only places you'll be able to access the mana potion, health potion. Do not bother with this one, just buy the bigger one. Make sure to buy those on a daily basis, including your mana potion. The reason I cannot buy is because I don't have many, but the way to unlock more is through donating to your guild, doing guild events, guild bosses, all the kind of stuff. Like, simply participate with your guild in those activities. Also doing your guild contracts, which would level up your guild. Those are the things that will help you earn those tokens and in return be able to buy these things. The other NPC that you need to be aware of is the contract coin merchant. This one, if you do the contracts that we were talking about earlier, you earn contract coins. You should always buy the mystic keys on a daily basis. You can buy 5 every single day. If you are in a hardcore guild, this helps you build a reputation and also give you higher level and higher guild ranking. But at the same time, even if you're not interested in hardcoring, having those keys can unlock materials and also sometimes amitoys, morphs, and all the stuff like skins, basically. The other thing you must buy in the future, I'm not sure if we'll have this on release, possibly not, but if we do get it on the future, then you would need the rune hammers, because these are basically really important for the runes, which I'll make a completely different video about in the future. And also these pouches over here, these are also very important to get your hands on. But obviously initially you're not going to have that many coins until you finish your contract, so just focus on the keys and then later get whatever. Those are weeklies, they can wait. The dailies are every single day. These are mostly the things that I think you need to focus on the most once you hit level 50. Once you run out of all these things, you can just go do your open world dungeons. Open world dungeons, initially you're gonna only have Silas Abyss, first and second floor. Go do that. Don't get your points stacked to 20k like this. Just run through them. Because 20k, it doesn't stack further, and when you do the open world dungeons, it consumes this, and when it consumes it, it gives you items, Solent, XP of course, and outside of that you also can earn Lucent through some drops in these open world dungeons. So I think this is very important to do. Now this is basically like everything you need to do for day one, and also like basically the first week. These are going to be the main things you will have to focus on. And outside of all that, once you run out of all these, my tips for you will be to focus on cooking and fishing. For those of you that didn't know, we are going to have cooking and fishing on release. So these are going to be extremely important to do, because fishing and cooking are now really important, especially the cooking. If you look at the cooking here, you can tell that you can make extremely useful buffs, PvP, fishing bonus, health recovery, and as you go further and further in level, you can even make feasts that basically you can feed to your whole party, and they give obnoxiously good stats that you will need for both PvE and PvP. And at the same time, while you're crafting these, if you do craft something, let's say for example I do craft these, for example, over here, let me just show you here real quick. So if I do craft these, let's say I craft 5 and I do cooking, you can sometimes get great success while cooking. And if you do get great success, as you can see here, this one is success, this one is success, but I also got 1 great success. If you do get great success, that means that those can be sold on the auction house, meaning you can also make Lucent. Lucent being the cash shop currency. So do be aware of these things. Do not slack on those. So do your contracts once you hit level 50. Do your dungeons once you hit level 50 as well, like those tier 1 dungeons here, the level 50. And then do your open world dungeons. And once you're out of all those things, you would have the fishing, the cooking, the hourly or bi-hourly or whatever it may be events for bosses. Do all those things, because that is basically going to be your in-game loop. The next video though, however, is going to be strictly for the end game loop, where I'll touch upon a lot of these systems, including the milestone, which is also going to be crucial to be aware of on release. So definitely, as I mentioned, if you end up enjoying this video, do like it, let me know what you think of it, and do subscribe, because the next video will be the end game loop. But with that out of the way, thank you guys if you made it this far. I hope this helped, and until the next one, peace.